All right, what's up, guys? All right. Good morning, Shahab, EYM. So the plan for this stream, again, is just try to work on the community project, answer any questions that people might have. Maybe I can do some live coding. Maybe I can review some PRs live. I don't know. Figure it out. So luckily, I added 2 collaborators who have been reviewing PRs, so I literally don't have to look at PRs anymore, which is nice. But let me just go ahead and go through this one real quick. Fix special buttons click cause unwanted behaviors. A little video here. Okay, I guess if you don't have the input focused, but then you're like clicking on stuff, it just messes everything up. I definitely like how, who is this? Sudo add user Jordan. I love how he added a video. If you're making a PR, if you can add an image that kind of just represents what you changed, or like a video that just demos what you changed, it's really nice because then I don't have to like go and like really have to mentally like understand the code. I can get a quick overview of the video, and then I can go look at the code and try to figure out what's going on. Luckily, this one's not too big of a change, so let's see what he changed. Looks like he renames a function. Okay. Unfocus shift plus tab if the key, shift key and its tab. Blur, return. Okay, so I guess pressing the tab key was really messing up the racing mechanic. And he overrode it to basically add 2 spaces instead of actually like inputting tab characters. Seems good. So unfortunately, this has a merge conflict, so he's going to have to go and fix it. But, I mean, it looks good. Let's see what else there is. Someone has a draft PR with conflicts. Added a video. I love it. See what's going on here. So on the bottom right, he added a timer. Pretty cool. Let's see how he did that. So he brought in pretty MS. Guessing it's just a formatting library. Okay. So like when I'm reviewing a PR and I see a package JSON change, I usually just go and make sure that the library that's being included is actually like a well-known used library. If I see someone bring in something that's like version 001 and it's pointing to some library I never heard about, that's when, you know, I have a little bit of concern because you don't know what that library is doing. You don't know if it has like pre-install scripts set up that are like trying to look for environment variables. So I just want to make sure that like there's nothing bad being added. I guess you can call that like a supply chain attack. But overall, like I don't think it's that big of a deal. Race, DSX. He added a race timer component. He got rid of this. What's he doing here? So he switched this to an if else with nested else statements. Not particularly how I would do it, but I'm not gonna like nitpick. I probably would have just had this one return early. So like prevent default return so that I don't need to do this nested else. and then I'd unindent these and just keep it as it was. I'm not a big fan of like nesting a bunch of stuff. But again, I don't like the nitpick. Okay. If the code works, I'm okay with it. And then later on, if I see it when I'm messing with stuff, I can just refactor it. So here's a race timer that he added. I'm guessing that's the component that shows in the bottom right. I'll update interval. What's this doing? Display elapsed time. Does the prettier formatting thing. Okay. Update elapsed time. Start time. Is race finished? Set timeout. This doesn't look right. Let's see. So I would have put this in a, this should be in an effect in my opinion. Like this should be an effect with an interval that fires off every update interval. Because what you've done here is you put it in like the render call of the component. I would have done an effect with a cleanup callback. Make an interval, clean up the interval every 100 milliseconds, run this logic. I have a feeling this would be very error prone. So I'm going to go ahead and say like, this should be in a use effect and use the set interval function to call update elapsed time every milliseconds. Also be sure to return a cleanup function from the use effect to clean up the interval. Go ahead and say request changes. I mean, it might work, but this should probably be an interval. Cool. Go back to chat. Yeah. I mean, you should see the dependencies we have in this project. We have like, what is this? It's not too bad yet, but I mean, it's getting up there, right? We have lines 20 through, we have 40 prod dependencies and then a bunch of dev dependencies. That's not too bad. I mean, my project at work has like 200 something. There are no tests on the project and it's making me go crazy. Am I the only one? Code Racer is not too bad. Yeah, so at this point, this is still just like a rapid prototype phase of the project. I feel like when we actually get a solid MVP out, I may ask contributors to like start writing some tests. At the very least, have like a Cypress test or a Playwright test to verify. But like we're changing functionality like all the time. Tons of merge conflicts. It's not even ready for tests, in my opinion. Let me go back to the chat for YouTube though. Yeah, Richard Pickman. Yeah, I have a full-time job. The YouTube thing is just a side hustle and for fun to teach you all how to code. Okay. Hi everyone. You should probably attend half Lucidity while playing with my own game stuff since I'm supposed to support on this project. Oh, what's up, Voided? By the way, Voided name, he's a Discord mod. He also has a YouTube channel. If you guys want to go check him out, let me give him a shout out. Voided name. Go check him out. He has some more advanced stuff on his channel. He also has a conference talk he did about clean code and how a lot of the stuff in the clean code book he kind of doesn't agree with. So go check that out. I'm not sure I understood what you're asking, though, Voided. Should probably attend half. Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't have to attend. I'm just rambling at this point. Hey, Linus, did you learn React already? Okay, I want to do a deeper review soon since it started calming down and I'll probably latch on a lot of use effects. Yeah, I did some refactoring last night on a use effect that had like 8 dependencies in the dependency array. I ended up just getting rid of that use effect, I believe. Because I think he was using it to know when like the race was done. but instead I just added like a function that we call after the race. Let me make sure I'm on the right page. Let's see. Page, race. I think this is it. Is this it? I think this is it. Why is it not showing my get diff? Usually there's like a get diff thing over here. It shows it here. Oh, did someone like refactor this to a new page, maybe? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let me just reload the window. Anyway, this used to have like a use effect that had like a bunch of logic in it just to know when the race was finished. But instead, I just added when you type in a key, if the thing you typed in matches the expected, then just end the race. So if you can get away without using a use effect, you should probably do that. I think in the React documentation, they even say that you should sparingly use the use effect. How do you handle a PR with different indent? I think we have Husky set up. So like, not only do we have linting that runs on the project, like let me go to my works, what is it called? Workflows. I think we have lint set up. I don't know if this is going to check the indents that are different, but this, you have to pass lint to get your PR merged in. And also you have Husky, which is running lint. Yeah, I mean, if they seem like they're indenting a bunch of stuff, I'd probably just leave a comment saying, hey, like use prettier and use the default settings of prettier. What is Code Racer? Is it open source? Yeah, it's something that we're kind of just working on for fun. I'll probably show what we have so far in a little bit when I get through these comments. Have you made a plan for the site, or is everyone just adding features, functionality they feel useful? Right now, I mean, there's like a plan I have in my head, but the goal is like, can you practice typing TypeScript or any languages? And a lot of the stuff people have been adding in without like me making issues for. It's been pretty cool. So for example, if I go to practice here, that will crash. So let's figure out what's going on here. Cannot read property of undefined call it. What is this? Yeah, I think at some point we're gonna have to add more tests because I've noticed that a lot of stuff just keeps breaking, and I think it's because people are doing merge conflicts and they might just be merging stuff incorrectly. This could also be I didn't run an npm install. So I just pulled a bunch of changes and I didn't pull in any of the dependencies. So let me just run an npm install and see if that fixes my issue. Did I use SSR to initially populate the products page on my dashboard? I probably would. If you want like SEO and you want the entire page to kind of have the data there, you can use SSR. CR was a little intimidating to work on at first, but I jumped in and lots of people in the Discord are helpful. Yeah. I'm glad it's turned out pretty good. I mean, like everyone in the community seems like they're helping everyone else out. You have some Tailwind tutorials? Not really. I have some live coding though. Howdy Cody from Trace. Oh, what's up, Trace? I would switch Prisma with micro ORM for better performance. We're gonna stick with Prisma. Is this a T3 stack? No. This is the app router with Tailwind and Prisma. There's no TRPC here. So it's basically a T3 stack without TRPC. Is there going to be a strict prettier configure something write code without it is kind of painful because I never know when you should end your line. I mean, you should just be using the default prettier. I mean, we have a prettier config, right? So like, just save your file and let prettier do its thing. What computer do you have? I have a M1 Air. What is Husky? Husky's a tool that basically runs some stuff before you do a commit to make sure that you ran your linting and ran your prettier or whatever else you wanted to do. Just a way to like catch errors before you get all the way to getting into the PR and then waiting for like 5 minutes and then just to notice that everything's failing. I think caps lock issue is such an issue. You're welcome to fix it. I'm not sure what issue you're talking about though. How can we solve the Next.js app router cache issue? Do you have a specific example in this project that we're running into? Just call router.refresh. That's the only thing I could say. I would say if you want to help contribute to this project, first thing is you need to be on the Discord. You need to be active on the Discord because Discord is the main place that we're like communicating. Okay, there's this whole channel here with community project. I want you guys on here because it's just easier to like ping you and ask you questions. It just becomes too difficult for me at least to like have to go through these issues and then go through like GitHub notifications. It's just a pain. I rather have like a real conversation with people and help them out. But yeah, if you want to contribute, join the Discord. Second thing is go through here and find an issue that hasn't been assigned. How do you know if it's assigned? Typically what you do is you go in and you leave a comment saying, I want to work on this. So like, let's try to find if anyone left a comment that says, I'm going to work on this. Assigning this issue to myself. So unless you're a collaborator, you can't assign to yourself. So you can leave a comment and that's kind of how you claim that you're going to work on it. If there's no comment, which you can kind of tell by just looking over here, there's no comments, you can just grab it. I'm going to go ahead and put this one as blocked. I don't think we should be focusing on the multiplayer WebSocket stuff yet. I think there's way too much stuff in the app that needs to be worked on before we even try to like venture into that. Like the game is not even like barely playable. Create room race model, since there will be public. I'm going to block this one too. So if it's blocked, just don't work on it. Yeah, that one's probably important. Can't sign in. I think someone deleted the sample ENB file at some point. So like that might have been one reason why people can't figure out how to log in. This project serverless? I mean, it's just a Next.js project, so it depends on where you deploy it. If you deploy it to like DigitalOcean VM, it won't be serverless. If you don't deploy it to Vercel, it will be serverless. If that makes sense. Can you share the Discord link? Sure. So go to my channel. Click up here. Oh, my head's blocking it, isn't it? Will this work? That's probably be too long. Yeah, just go to my YouTube channel and go to my banner and click on, there's the third link's the Discord. What's your thoughts on Drizzle ORM? I haven't used it yet. So I have no thoughts. Can you share Discord link? We want to know how much Next.js app with MySQL will cost in deployment. I mean, you don't know how much something's going to cost unless you know exactly how many users you have, how many active users are those, how much traffic are you getting every day, how much bandwidth are you using, how much data are you storing. So if you can answer those questions I just asked, then you can estimate how much stuff will cost, because you just go to your pricing model, whatever platform as a service or infrastructure as a service you're using, and then type in those numbers and you'll figure out how much your stuff's going to cost. If you have no users and no traffic, then it's going to be free, right? Why don't make multiplayer tag? I'm not sure what this question is. Right now, this app is hosted on Vercel. And the only reason I'm doing that is because this isn't like a paid product. So you can host free things on Vercel that don't like commercially make money. Vincent, why are you spamming, bro? But to answer his question, what I'm going to show you what to do. If you're a web developer, it's really good if you can like figure things out for yourself. So what you should do is join my Discord and like you just scroll a little bit, and you'll see this this type racer thing down here. I guess I should rename this a code racer, right? And then you also spam my chat, Benson, so I'm kind of giving you some slack. But I still love you. Thank you for watching. Why don't you make multiple tags and get up your reviews? Makes sense since you have multiple. Yeah, we can do a multiplayer tag. What's your thoughts on SST? I mean, that's what I typically use to deploy my Next applications. I'm not using Vercel for the database. I'm using Supabase for the database. All right, let's just play through this. So this is what the community has built in about a week. Good progress. So we got the landing page here. Let me make sure that am I in the right account? I should be. Let me do start racing. So the idea is you can come in here and start practicing like different syntaxes. This is kind of going off the page. I'm not sure if that's something that we should look into. Probably. Let's click TypeScript, click practice. I guess someone decided to change the colors to yellow, which kind of goes with the theme, so I like it. Although half the stuff I worked on last night is gone now, so I'm going to go and figure out why that's all gone. There used to be a return line character there so that you knew you have to type it. Now it's gone. Also, when you typed in an error, there was a border around that. Now that's gone. Let's see what else broke. There's also a message down here that says you cannot complete the race until you fix all your errors. So let's go and figure out what broke, because I just literally spent like an hour last night fixing that page. All right, this is how it used to work. I'm gonna go ahead and revert. I'm guessing this was a merge conflict issue. When you get a merge conflict, don't just click accept incoming. Like you literally have to look through what's different and compare your changes to the person's changes. Otherwise, you're just gonna blow away all the work someone did. Like you have to actually figure out and spend time looking between the two diffs and pick and choose what you want. I'm guessing that's what happened. Because what was this ref? This is how, let's see. Let me do a hard refresh. What's follower? Oh, okay, follower. Oh, is that you, Dan? It's all good. We're all learning here. Sorry if I sound like I was mean, but we're all learning. But I have to figure out how to set the pre-ref to code container ref. Oh, wait, what? How did that get there? That's weird. I won't lie though, conflicts are hard. Okay, like I'm even confused what's going on here. So this used to take in a ref, the follower. But now the pre has a ref. I guess they both need the ref. I don't know why this one would ever need the ref. Let me see if this even needs a ref. Resize listener. Okay, it does. Okay. That one just needs to be ref. What am I doing? Yeah, this used to show a red rectangle. Now it's gone. But what changed here? If errors include index, errors include index. So I should be doing this one. If the current index that we're at, if the current thing we're looking at is a space and it's an error, we should be showing a border red. Let's see, Sai Shankar. I would say if you're playing around with the application and you find something you want to work on, look through the issues and see if there's already an issue for it. And if there is, see if like you can assign yourself to it. If there's no open issue for it, create an issue that kind of describes what you're about to work on and then just start working on it, right? All right, how am I going to fix this? I want to make sure this isn't a caching issue. Let me just delete the whole page. Why is this not? Did errors change? Errors is a number. We can do this. We can figure out why it's not working. It's probably something super simple. Code index. Errors includes index. If it's just a small improvement, feel free to just make a PR. You don't have to make an issue for that. But if you're going to be touching a bunch of files or like adding a whole new feature, that's when I would say make an issue. No, it's supposed to, like, so the idea is like when you're coding in a real IDE, Like it doesn't stop you when you're typing. Wait, how did that work now? I didn't change anything. Now it's working. Bro, this is one thing about Next. They cache too much. Like everything is just cached. And so like you sit here for 20 minutes trying to figure out why your stuff doesn't work. And it's like, oh, well, you know, Next wants to do tons of micro optimizations and waste your time. But now it's working. I have no idea why that's working now. I literally didn't change anything. All right, so that's what I had before. So like when you type an error, like the space, it tells you that, hey, you know, you typed something here. You need to go back and fix it. And then we also had these new line characters showing up. I think this was good because it lets users know that, hey, like you got a space there. But if you don't space, I don't know if the space thing is good. I think it's nice to be able to see that, like, Daria, why would I have the div tools open? You know, I thought that was open. That's why I hate live streaming. You do dumb stuff like this, and everyone knows that you're also just as confused as they are all the time when it comes to coding. Recently started Prisma. Oh yeah, let me read your question. I will suggest how about we add where your teammate or competitor is alongside your cursor. Yeah, I actually like this idea. I was hoping that like as you're typing, you can see people's like avatars hovering over where they are. I think it's going to cause words, like we have to add a bunch of line height between these so that it doesn't cause people to like have their code covered up by other people's avatars. But I think it'd be really cool to see like people's live, like, you know, race with you. Because right now we just have like this top level timeline here. So we could have multiple people's like icons up here, but also like in the code itself have the icons. But you're welcome to make an issue for that, or I will if you forget about making the issue. That might be pretty cool. Why not just have a different color cursor for all of them? I recently started using Prisma with Postgres. I don't know where I can host this database for production. I would use Supabase if you want a free database host. Like they have a free database host for like a certain amount of data, I think, if you want Postgres. Other than that, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if there's any cheaper database hosts. Usually they run like $10 a month or something. That's like the cheapest I've seen. Supabase is like 20 something, 25 a month to get a non-free version. I don't have a Bugatti. Maybe color change instead of avatars on the. Yeah, that might be pretty cool. I think someone else have a different cursor for all of them. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really figured out the multiplayer aspect. I mean, so if someone's willing to champion that idea and that feature and like figure out a good solution for it, personally, I would wish that we could just do like WebSockets ourselves without having to depend on a third-party WebSocket provider. And we could just host that as a separate API somewhere. Like we have like a WebSocket server that's hosted. And then if we get a bunch of traffic and we decide that we need to like scale up, we can use Supabase real time. I just don't want to get too coupled to all these other services because then it makes it super hard for other people to like run the project locally. Okay, I rather have it like everything that we need can just run locally for beginners and not have to like, oh, you have to also go sign up for a Supabase account and then you have to set up your Supabase keys, stuff like that. By the way, I do want to give a shout out to all of my top contributors. So we got Scape, which is Dan, which is, I think he was in the chat. He probably left when I was frustrated about the merge conflict issue I was fixing. But he's definitely been helping out the most in this project, so I want to give a shout out to him. He's been doing great. Everyone else has been doing great as well. We got Trace is another top contributor. We got Ragados, sudo add user Jordan, Mishubidusi. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, we got all these great contributors. At some point, I want to add a page where if you guys have like a personal project, a personal like website, and you want to kind of just like, you know, be listed on a contributors page so that you can get some like visibility. I don't know if you guys work full-time jobs right now, if you're like looking for work, but at least having like your name and like a little profile on a contributors list and then a link that goes to like your personal profile or portfolio, I'd be willing to do that because I mean, I want to give back to you all who have been helping out, and I don't know how else to really get back. Yeah, just feel free to do that. If you guys just want to like get your name somewhere, feel free to just make a contributor page, a link to it, put your stuff, put your information on there. Just don't link to anything bad, please. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Dan, are you working as a developer, or is this just like are you self-taught trying to get into the industry? Because so far you've been doing a good job, and I can tell you're really motivated on this project. So keep up the great work. Don't you need to use Supabase SDK to use Laser service? Yeah, I mean, if you want to use a live data, you have to use their SDK, which I don't know. I think we could achieve the WebSockets just by making a simple Express application with like Socket.io or some other type of socket provider and not have to go down as like dependencies of, you know, Pusher or Supabase or whatever. That's just my opinion. You guys can talk me out of it and say, hey, you know what? This would be so much easier for you to use Pusher. And I also have a plan to like, for these 20 people joining the project, I can walk them through how to set up a Pusher account. But again, this is a free service, so like I don't want to have to get, you know, shoehorned into like spending 20 bucks a month for this, 20 bucks a month for that, 20 bucks a month for this. Where's the GitHub link? Right here. I'll paste it for you all. All right, what do you think I should work on? I don't think I've even demoed what we have. So when you finish a race, let me just do that real quick. Okay, it takes you to this dashboard page. And oh, it looks like someone actually hooked this into real data. Who did that? I think it's called the result page. Someone actually hooked this up. Current race results. Get current race result. Mari Aperi, it looks like. Move code to fetch user results only if user is available. I don't know if he added that feature or he just moved it around, but before this was showing like hard-coded data. And now it actually shows the real results. Now I am kind of confused how the race results are getting fetched from a snippet ID. I think this is mislabeled. This should be called like a, what is this doing? Result. This should be called like a result ID, not a snippet ID. Yeah, we might have to do some refactoring here because you can have multiple results. Like I could race the same snippet over and over and over again. This query is just giving you the first one, which I would rather it, like this should have an ID attached to it, right? So maybe we can do some refactoring live on here. This should be a result ID. And then we should find unique where ID is equal to result ID. All right. Card object. What's going on here? Accuracy. Kind of an interesting approach to it. I guess I'm wondering, why do we take the results here, which should just be an object that has the information you need, but then we make it an object. This is presentation logic. So let me show you all. Let me kind of walk you through this. This loader is supposed to be pretty simple. It should just like fetch data from the backend and return that data. This to me feels like presentation logic, which I'm guessing you can like do this a couple times and you'll see like a bunch of cards pop up. Yeah, so that's presentation logic. That's the responsibility of the UI. So I would personally take this logic and move it to the layer that's responsible for presenting that. So let's go to get current race results, which is here. And then we can go ahead and say card object. This would be like a derived, I guess. Now we might have to do it here. I'll keep it called as card object, and I wanted to make it a derived. Current race result. Accuracy is not built card props. Where's this displayed? Oh, here it is. Card objects. I'll do card objects. We'll rename this one. I think we have this like coded. What is this returning? This should be returning a race result. Get user results for snippet. Get current race results. You know, I might be refactoring stuff and I didn't fully understand what's going on, so I might just undo everything I just did. Get user results for snippet. So why do we do this? We get the race results. That's for the chart. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Parse race results. It's the 7 latest results. Okay, so that's, again, that might be something that I would personally pass in as a like number of results is equal to 7, just so it's like a little bit more dynamic. And the UI can pick and choose like how many do we want to send back or fetch. But I'm trying to figure out graded at, formatted, reverse. Why do we reverse them? Bear with me. I haven't been looking at this code too much, so this is all new to me. And this is normal. Like when you're looking at code that you didn't write, it takes your brain like a lot more time to like figure out what's going on. Race results isn't a result. Promise. Yeah, there should just be a bunch of results here. I mean, this isn't typed. What's the difference between this? But the race results in the page type is So the card objects, I'm going to be jumping around here a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just say this is going to be an as title, which is a string, and a value, which is a string. Okay, I'll do that. So that won't complain anymore. Accuracy is a decimal. Null is not assignable to result. Oh, I think these are nullish. So technically they could be null. String user ID created at date, accuracy decimal. I'm taking unknown, not assignable to result or null. What am I doing here? I have no idea what I'm doing. This will be an array. We format it. I mean, maybe, okay, so I saw a formatted result somewhere. Where did that come from? Bars, results. Okay, one thing I would do is, personally, I like to have the types like close to where they're being used. Especially if this is only used one place. I think it is. I guess it's used two places. Okay. Omit. So you're basically taking the created at and okay, that makes sense. I would maybe cut this and I would put this here inside of this loader. Just define it here because this is a thing that's actually like using it. And I think the thing that's like changing what this is, I would maybe not change created at. I would just call created at formatted here. Or again, this is kind of, this could potentially be a UI thing. Like just let the data return as is. And then in the UI do a derived. But I won't get too caught up on it. Get user results. So this would be like multiple of them. Let me go this, do that. We'll get there. I mean, I guess I'm okay with this. So I would say like these types, if you're gonna do something like this, they should at least live inside the result page because I don't think anything else in the application uses them. But I personally would just try to like not have a types file and like just define them in the loaders or like wherever the data is actually being fetched. That's where you should define the thing that's getting returned. And if you can, just use like TypeScript's implicit returns. Right, so this one would need to be, let me go back. I'll probably have to think more about this off stream, but Now my computer's starting to lag. Let's see. Being used before it's defined. We default that to empty array at least. I might have just made this code even dirtier. I don't know. I need to take a step back and actually like think about what I'm doing. Why is this complaining? You know, maybe we can also just do this. Like, instead of having this parse race result, like, can we just do like a type of, like, return type? I don't know how to do it with the promises though, so that's going to be a pain. Current race result. So yeah, I'll have to fix the deploy version. I'm not sure what's broken about that. Return type is declared, but it's not. Created at data is not assignable to type string. Created at data. I think I probably broke something. Result card props. As a result, card props. Parse race result. Get user results for snippet. Get current race result. Okay, this one's just a result. String or undefined. Okay, I guess I could just make this potentially undefined. Anyway, I think I just went off the deep end of like doing too much refactoring when really I was just trying to do one thing. So I apologize for that, but I want to see if this actually works though, because I probably just broke everything. Okay. So another thing I was refactoring and I got sidetracked on that whole front end stuff is that now instead of a snippet ID, we should get a result ID. So on the page itself, like after you finish a race, I can figure out where in the code that's happening. Save user result action. This one should give back result, hopefully. Do I have result.id? I also noticed that a lot of people are using Prisma transactions. I'm not sure if we truly need transactions for most of the stuff we're doing. Maybe I don't fully understand what's going on here, but like, if all we're doing is saving a result, we should just be calling a prisma.create. That's it. Okay, but we're also aggregating the users' averages and CPM. Average values. And we update. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I think the transaction works okay. Now I want to return the results so we know what the ID is here. So like, will this thing return a result? It does. So let's just return the result here. Is that going to be a result? It is. I'm going to return here. In the meantime, I'll be right back. All right, I'm sorry, I'm back. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was looking through here. Transaction seems okay. I wanted to return the result so that here we can get the race result. And yeah, this is going to be a much bigger refactoring. Hope someone's not already working on this. Because like the issue with the current thing is just getting the last snippet for the user. You might not be logged in, right? So like you won't, we need to figure out a way to like be able to achieve this without being authenticated. And I think that's going to end up like, we could probably pass the result data in the query string itself instead of telling the code to like go and look up the result. I think we should just require you to be logged in the race right now. I think there's too much stuff going on in our code base right now to like, we just assume that you're always logged in. So we'll have to figure that out. I'm just gonna call router.refresh if you're not logged in for right now. Why is this complaining? Data is possibly undefined. Why would this be undefined though? That was complaining about? Okay, let's figure out a better way to do this. If we're logged in, we call this, that should make a request to the back, and that should give us back a result. Oh, if the transaction fails, I guess we could potentially get undefined or something. So that's what's going on. So if this thing fails to return data, I'm just going to refresh the page. This is like the most hacky approach. Yeah, I think we should probably show the results before like navigating to a new page. Oh, we got snippet ID used everywhere. Result ID. I probably bit off way more than I can chew on this refactoring. So result ID will come in over here. Yeah, I'm also not a fan of like, okay, so like here's another example, having types declared in another file. Like this is only ever used on this page. So just like declare it on this page so that we don't have to have like all this jumping back and forth between files. I like to just define it right here on your prop types, right? Now this one should be called result ID. But we're going to have to fetch the result. So I'm going to say const result is equal to await. At some point also, I want to get all Prisma calls out of the React server components. Like we should not have any calls to Prisma in any of these React components. I'd rather those be abstracted with one layer of abstraction into another file, which is what we were doing with the loaders over here. So technically I could, in the loader, I could say get current race result. Yeah, I could just do this. Wait, we already do this. What am I doing? Okay, current race result. We get it down here. I just need to say result ID. But if we have the result ID, and we have the current race result, then the snippet ID should be attached to that. But it's possibly undefined. Why would this be undefined? Okay, there's just, this is crazy. There's too much going on here. I'm gonna throw an error. Simple as that, right? Just throw an error. If you can't find the race result, throw an error, and then we fetch the race results for the snippet that you just did. Show that in the UI. Now the user votes. Where are those even displayed somewhere? I'm gonna move that down here because I think we need the snippet ID. I would rather you be in the Discord so that you're actually part of the community, instead of you just being like a lone wolf developer working on stuff. But I mean, you can still make a PR. It'll get probably reviewed and merged. Since I'm like in the middle of coding right now, can you just go to my YouTube channel and then go to my like my banner. There's links in my banner. There should be a Discord link. The difference, if you're gonna do like GET requests, like Axios, or not Axios, like fetch requests from your React server components, that's gonna do another network request, right? So it's gonna take some extra time versus if you can just do a request directly to your database, it's less overhead, right? So it's faster. But there's a maintenance concern I have and other people have. If your React server components are all coupled to Prisma, it's gonna become a lot harder to refactor that out to drizzle ORM or something, because now every single component in your code base knows about Prisma and it really shouldn't. So we should, if possible, move stuff like this into a different file. I'm just doing like something called loaders. This will kind of creates like one layer of abstraction to make it easier to refactor. And technically you can go down like the whole like dependency inversion path and like have these things be injected, which might make it even better, but okay, this is not failing. Let me go back here. Load a Prisma Studio real quick, because there are snippets in here that I need to delete. There. In fact, to make my feedback loop shorter, I'm going to change this to just be that. Okay, so we finished the race. Now we get the result ID. That uses result ID to fetch back the thing you just did. We display that on the page. And then we also fetch back all of the last 7 that you've done. And if you're not logged in, this is just going to break. So we got to figure out how to circumvent that. I'm going to log out, try the same thing. Domain-driven design. Is that what I'm doing right now? You know, there's so many buzzwords in software in the industry that like domain-driven design, I don't even know what that means. Like, what does that actually mean? Okay, so when you finish the race and it just crashes, I think. Because I'm just doing a refresh. Okay, so in race, if we have a user else, I'll put a to do here. We should show hard-coded results. Now technically, we need this stuff. Thank you for the hearts, whoever that is. Appreciate it. What's up, base 0? Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you like my Tailwind stuff. Thinking about making a course for Tailwind, just like basically implement 10, 20 components, maybe make 3 full page layouts. But I don't know if I'll have time. I'll have to figure it out. Okay, is that what domain-driven design means? I just call it abstracting away. Just one layer of abstraction. Your UI layer, your data fetching should not know about where the data is coming from and what ORM you're using. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like now we're reaching a point where we have two completely different paths. We have someone finished a race who's logged in. We have someone who finished a race who isn't logged in. And the question is, do we reuse the race page or have these paths diverged enough that would make sense to make a brand new page? Because we, like you said, we can't show the last 7 results unless we like set up a system to store this all into local storage and like push stuff in the history. The simplest approach would be, let's just make a completely different view, which has less stuff. Because you also can't upvote. There's no ability to upvote a race, which is something we don't need to show either. Yeah. I thought domain-driven design is like your code and your code base should like represent the actual business terminology. Am I right on that, Voided? So like, okay, if we make a result offline, I'm gonna try doing this. I'm just gonna try making a new page called like result solo. No, results auth. I know this is just gonna get so messy if I have to add in extra functionality here. What should I call this? If I want to make a brand new page to do what I was kind of talking about, what would you all call it? Like local result. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. This is probably not the best approach. Yeah, so Dari, my issue is that like there's so much difference. Have it. Okay. I'm afraid this is gonna get so messy if I do that. Like I could just do the code splitting here, like the result. Is this the page, the results chart? Maybe we should call this the result page. Like we could have a function authenticated, and then we could have unauthenticated page. And then the idea is like all this stuff before was all the authenticated page. You could do a split that way. That might get messy too. Or I could just do the split here if we're logged in, else do something else. I don't know. Guess we'll just try to keep it as simple as possible. There's no result ID. So in this case, we wouldn't have a result ID. So if we're logged in, there's no result ID. Also, I don't know why we even have that check. Like, how would you get to that route without a result ID? Unless someone's just manually typing in stuff. User votes? Is this actually use my user ID? It does. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this approach. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but going for it. you guys can call me out if this is not the good way. All right, I could pass in the user too. This is a component, so we got to do like result ID user. Result ID is a string. Okay, so this one we know there's a user, so we can just like delete all this stuff. First race badge is never reassigned. Oh, what do you mean? Reassigned right here. Doing some cleanup, don't mind me. Current race. All right, if there is no current race result, I'm just gonna throw an error. You can come back and fix this. Something went. No result found with this ID. Okay. Trying to change the bare minimum to get this working. Why is user not? Okay. There's one split. Seems good. If the user, I'll say authenticated page will pass in the user. And we'll also pass in the result ID, which will be search params dot result ID. Otherwise, unauthenticated page. Not be used as a JSX component. Oh, that's just because we have to like update TypeScript. Why is this complaining? Because it could potentially be like unknown or undefined. Let's go here. Missing the following properties. This thing not returning a, oh, it's a different type of user. It's a session user. I think I'm using like the wrong, this is like a next auth user. That's what we want. It's a different type of user. It's the same name but different thing. One's like a session user object and one's a real like database user object. Okay, so these are just complaining because like you have to be on a certain version of TypeScript in like Next to like not have this complaint about using promises in your React server components. If someone's willing to fix that, that would be nice. I think it's a simple upgrade fix, but I know Theo talked about it on Twitter, and there's like a way to get around this. But it'd be nice if TypeScript did not complain about this. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to return a to-do not implemented for unauthenticated users yet. I'll say results are not implemented. Let's just see if this works. I just want to make sure this actually works. Is ShadCN the future? No. It's just an approach to style stuff, to make components. I wouldn't say it's the future. That should have, okay, that takes so long. That's something that's kind of annoying. It takes so long to like redirect to the page, the results page. But at least we have a different like branching logic for the results. At some point, I want to pass in like all of the result information as in the query string and just like display those. But I do think we might be doing a lot of loading. You know, I'm not sure why that took so long to load. That took at least 5 seconds to navigate from one page to the next. Maybe it's because I'm locally, but the only thing this component does is call get current user. And that should have been pretty fast, you're right? It's just doing one database call. Daria just hates Tailwind. He's a CSS fanboy. Okay, that was super fast that time. Yeah, I mean, that works. Does this page have an H1 on it? Doesn't. I might just add, instead of this, I'm going to put a heading. Every page should kind of have an H1 on it, which is why I'm adding this in. So that people who use screen readers and keyboard navigations can actually quickly navigate through your app. So I'm just going to add one right here, refresh the page, and hopefully we get a better title showing up. Oh, they need the fix Next.js. It's just too slow. Like the dev server is what I meant. there a way I can center this automatically? Oh, I can add centered. Okay, that's cool. Let's do centered. Yeah, I mean, I personally just like Tailwind because for me, I just find it. I like how the atomic classes are like right there in the file. I mean, if you use like Vue, you'd have like your classes down here, which is nice too. And it's also like a common convention that everyone knows how to like style stuff. But yeah, let's not get into that topic because I haven't worked with Tailwind on a large scale project, so I can't tell you if it's unmaintainable like when your project becomes too big. I think if you just use Tailwind for like a lot of the helpers, like the flex and the grids, the centering of stuff like that, it'll be okay. But if you have like button styles copied and pasted all throughout your code base, you have to stop and like refactor into a common shared component or else it's just not maintainable. What is my current theme? It's called Bearded Theme. So we have logic for like showing badges when you finish your first race. I want to verify this is working because I think that's a really cool feature, but I do think sometimes it just like breaks because it only happens once. So if I were to go to my user achievements, I have 2 different badges you can get. Why is this so slow? How do you balance your day job, your family, and videos? I don't know. I think my live streams are the ones that take the most amount of time. Everything else is like literally like a 10-minute video, which is crazy because if you look at my channel, this last video I made, I did no preparation at all. I just started coding. I just started like diagramming some stuff out, and I'm already at 102,000 views on this one video. I literally did no planning for this. I just loaded up an editor, started recording, and just started drawing diagrams. So sometimes it pays off, which is why I'm able to like record a 20-minute video because I don't plan for it. That's how I balance like YouTube and work and stuff. If you can find 30 minutes of your day that you're like watching TV, you could find 30 minutes out of your day to make a YouTube channel. Assuming you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to be a lot harder to make videos teaching coding when you don't know how to code. But if, you know, I have like 10 years of experience, so I can just like start recording and talking about stuff and kind of be accurate 90% of the time. All right, so there we got some cool confetti. The first time you do a race, it says, congrats on completing your first race. I don't know why this image is not showing up. We have to figure that out. I have a toast somewhere. First race badge. Use timeout is expired. It should have displayed the image here. So let's look at the network tab and try to figure out what is it loading. First PNG. So I think my seed data might be wrong. Static first. I mean, that should be right. Next image, first PNG. How would that not display the right thing? I just do a 3-finger swipe. It's built in the Mac. How about this? That's just built in the Mac with virtual workspaces. Oh, you know what? I probably just have bad seed data. let me do that again. I probably had the old achievements in here. Yeah, these are old. I need to update those. Go ahead and save those. So now, what you're thinking of YouTube Shorts and TikToks for coding videos? I think YouTube Shorts and TikToks can be good because I think a lot of people from my shorts have learned one small new thing. And I think if you're going to be making YouTube Shorts, like that's your approach you need to be taking is like, can I teach someone something new about JavaScript in 60 seconds? And just go read through the JavaScript documentation. There's like thousands of things that you could potentially teach in 60 seconds. So I think shorts are really great. Okay, we got the image showing up now. We got the first race, and we also have snippets. So I think when you add your first snippet, and then if I were to go ahead and add, where's TypeScript? Just add some random stuff here. Wait, I just selected TypeScript. How did... That's kind of weird. Achievement unlocked, uploaded first snippet. That needs to be fixed up a little bit. Personally, I would also clear this thing out after you upload. What's your question, Voided? Might be my ignorance of Next.js, but shouldn't static resources be static? Yeah, so like I have, the idea is like we'd have a bunch of hard-coded static images inside of this directory. So like all the achievements I put inside a folder here, and then the database would just point to whatever image you want. Change the URL to images. Oh, yeah, let me show you. Yeah, you can let us know if this is a bad approach. So we have every achievement in the system is just basically created as C data in the database. And that points to images. Technically, I guess we could just hard code this in the code base, right? Like we don't need to have the image hard coded into these records, but this gives us a little bit of flexibility. So if we ever change like what the achievement image can be, we can just go into the database and change it. That's the approach we're taking, but I think we're open to any ideas. I guess it would need a redeploy anyway, right? Because if you're going to add a new image, you'd have to go and change it in two places. So we could potentially just have a function called like get achievement image, and that will take in an achievement type, and then in the code base, it'll just return like the image. Maybe that's a better approach. But I'm curious on what your thoughts are. Yeah, I think I might agree with you. Like it'd probably be better just like have these be in the code and not have to store them in the database. What's the use case of having an achievement model? Yeah, I don't even know if we even need this, right? These could also be hard-coded in the TypeScript code. And then you could just create the achievement. Yeah, Voided, what's your thoughts on this whole achievement table? Do you think it can just get deleted? And instead, we could just have this hard-coded? Yeah, maybe that was the idea, but like, I don't think that's going to be possible unless you create like this sophisticated system to know when things happen in your code base. I will put that in a issue because I don't want to go down another rabbit hole right now. But I will say it'd be a task. Remove the achievement model hard code achievements into TypeScript data structure object. How about that? We don't find a need for the achievements model. Instead, let's just hard code this in TypeScript, which will give us better static analysis benefits. I'm going to put voided name for credits. Voided name. And then someone else in the chat, I forget your name, Aiden. I don't know if you have a Discord handle, but that's probably good enough. I would like this thing to clear out after you upload. I'm going to make another issue for that. I'm going to call it a bug. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but I'm going to go ahead and call it a bug. We'll say new bug. You know, I don't think this is a bug. I think it's just clear the add snippet form after successfully uploading a snippet. And technically, like, I don't know how much more I need to add there, but I'm going to be lazy and just do that. That would be a good first issue. Super simple to do, hopefully. I'll just go ahead and say that's a good first issue. In capsule, go ahead and leave a comment saying you're going to do it then, before someone else grabs it. Since you're the first person I saw say I will do it, I will say in capsule is working on this. Yeah, feel free to join in and try to help out. Again, the only requirement is like try to do this without bringing in a third-party service. Unless you can convince me that we should be using a third-party service. But if you can do this with like a simple WebSocket server deployed on DigitalOcean or some type of VM, or use like AWS API Gateway version 2 WebSockets, I would personally like that approach better. I think someone could probably style these achievements a little bit better. Like, you know, let's just do that real quick. That'll take 2 seconds. Go to the profile. Where are the achievements? We got achievements here. This thing, I could say gap before. Do they have a background color? What's going on here? Hmm. My theme is bearded theme. I think these achievements are just too small. At the very least, I think we need like 80. Why is it taking so long to like... Oh. I don't like the border. Let's get rid of that border. I also don't like how there's no title here. Here are badges. Here are achievements. I don't know what we should call it. Yeah, I don't like how this is a card here. Like, it's kind of weird that this is a card. I would rather have like your profile picture, your name, a section for achievements, section for something else. It's kind of weird that we're putting this all in like this card. But if anyone wants to try to play around with that, you can feel free to. Which one is the card? Is this the card? I don't even know. Overflow hidden. Why is overflow hidden on this? Has like max heights on it. Yeah, this could use some rework. All right, let me commit my changes. I'm going to say live stream refactoring. All right, anyone's welcome to pull those changes I did today. And I've been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes, so I think I'm done with the coding aspects for the day. But if you guys want to ask questions, oh, someone added contributors already? It's already been there. When did that get added in? Added in 40 minutes ago. Cool. Yeah, so if you want to go and add your name or something, that's cool. You guys can do that. Yeah, Kendrick codes. This is why everyone complains about the app router. It's like you'll save a file, you'll make like a small TypeScript change, and it takes 5 seconds for your app router to refresh your page. It's awful. Like, I hope they fix it soon because it's like some of the most annoying wait times versus use Vite. You save and you're like, before you even get back to your browser, it's already been refreshed. The reason we're using Husky pre-commits is because there's a lot of people who probably don't have like prettier even set up on their machine. They don't have lint set up. We've already fixed tons of code that's been like tons of lint errors everywhere. So it's just easier if we just kind of enforce that. Yeah, but if we block it on CI, then I have like a bunch of open PRs that are just failing. And then I have to go and look and see, well, why are they failing? Oh, it's failing on lint. They could just fix it on their branch. I don't know. I think there's like some people don't believe in Husky, and some people think it's actually useful. I'm kind of leaning more towards if it helps you catch small little errors before you push them to your branch, I'm game. Yeah, lint stage might make things a lot easier too, or a lot faster. But really, this project is so small. Like, how long does it actually take to lint your code base? Like, I feel like we're complaining about something that's like, it took like 4 seconds. So 4 seconds saves reviewers time from like looking through PRs and stuff. I think it's worth it. Yeah, I read YouTube chat. If you have a question, Joe B. Hey, have you started using ShadCN? I saw a few guys rating it. We are literally doing ShadCN on this project, so yes. The whole project is using that library. And I think the title of this stream is called, like, it has ShadCN in the title, doesn't it? Yeah, we have a lot of, let me show you all the components we brought in from ShadCN. We have, all of these are being used on ShadCN, I think. Yeah, we're using it pretty extensively. I like it, works pretty good. If you just need a quick way to get a bunch of components going. Do you think that we can use socket.io and just host the server somewhere? I think so. The first, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get WebSockets working with the Next.js deployment since we're deploying to Vercel. So we will have to deploy like a WebSocket API somewhere. I'd probably just deploy it to like a VM or something. Why don't I work with an IT company? I'm not sure I understand that question. Thanks for joining, Voided. Later. I'm like 32, I think. Use any scaffolding for this T3? We use create next app. Yeah, Daria, I could use your opinion on this. So I know Next.js, from what you said, it's kind of a pain getting WebSockets to work, and I think depending on where you deploy it, it become even more of a pain. Like deploying to Vercel, it uses serverless under the hood, so like WebSockets is kind of out of the picture. So the only other approach is use a third-party WebSocket library like Pusher or AWS, or make our own separate WebSocket server and deploy that somewhere. Unless there's an easy way to just like spin up a... I don't think there is. The core alone, I currently work full-time, 8 hours a day. I have a full-time job. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're saying like don't use server actions, don't use like React server components. Well, I mean, you can just don't use Prisma inside the React server components and just fetch from a third-party API. I mean, I'm sorry, not third-party API. Fetch from our own API that's just hosted separately. That'll work too. We could do that. We just have to replace all of our Prisma calls everywhere with fetch requests. So, but even so, like that would still require us setting up another Express service and deploying that separately. Like your approach and the approach that we talked about earlier, it's still going to be two different deployments, right? You're going to have to deploy your UI next app to somewhere, and then your API would have to be deployed separately somewhere. And they'd still have to like kind of... Well, I guess the main difference is that your API wouldn't have to make separate requests to a WebSocket server. Or we could just use refresh intervals and not use WebSockets. Is that crazy? Actually, let's see, does this app actually work? By the way, this is the deployed URL for this app. I don't have a real domain for it yet, and I figured I'd get a domain when this is actually like usable. Make sure this works. I don't think I've actually tried testing this. That was weird. Why is that doing that? All right, there's a little bug with this template, with this snippet. Probably related to the code I recently added. So someone could probably fix that. Oh wait, no, that's bad. I don't want that snippet. First place, boys. Go ahead, try to beat me. I mean, to answer this question, I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that you're seeing online, and an entrepreneur typically hates working for the man. They want to like be their own boss and do their own things, and they end up working 80 hours a week for no profit. But it's like it has a different vibe to it. I think it's fun to build your own thing and be completely responsible for your own success or failure of your project. But I wouldn't say that this is true. I think a lot of people work at a company. I think that the tip of the iceberg is what you see on social media of people trying to build their own products and stuff. Most people actually just want a solid job that pays well and has job security. Thank you, Hendrix. Appreciate that. Where do you buy your domains? I use Namecheap now since that Google Domains is getting bought out. Yeah, the WebSocket stuff does kind of suck for meta frameworks. A lot of it's just like, oh, here's a third-party API we recommend you sign up for. Like that's like Vercel's approach. It's like we don't provide much of anything, so go sign up for your logging at Axiom. Go sign up for your WebSockets at Pusher because you can't do it on our framework. Like, wait, what? That's why I'm using your framework, so I can do everything in like one place. But now I have to go off and spend $500 a month on my service. No, I don't play basketball. What keeps you motivated to code after your day job? I can watch streams and videos of people coding all the time, but I don't find it enjoyable to code myself as much anymore. I don't know. I just like learning new things. That's what keeps me motivated. And this is like a side hustle, so I do get paid some money from like YouTube AdSense and sponsorship videos, so that kind of keeps me motivated. Cool. Yeah, I've never used Pusher. People just recommend it for like WebSocket events, but I'm assuming it just won't work for a game because now you're interacting with a third-party API. They're probably going to charge you a ton of money. If you try to make a game with Pusher, they probably charge you a ton of money for their WebSockets. When you could literally just clone any starter template project with Socket.io and be ready in like 10 minutes. So it's like, I guess it depends on the scale of your project and how much like WebSockets you're sending and how reliable you want your WebSockets to be. That's when you want to use a third-party service. But for something small like this project we're building, I think we could get away with like a WebSocket server on a decently sized VM. But we'll find out. I think third-party services are great until you start realizing that they're like it costs a lot of money when you have like real traffic. So then you start building your own servers to handle the traffic. What's up, Kevin? Big fan of your channel and tutorials. What inspired you to start a YouTube channel? Originally, I just wanted to start teaching people how to code. I mean, that's still the motivation. I just like teaching people how to code. I just think it's fun, and getting other people psyched on coding is like awesome as well. And then also when I was learning the code, there wasn't really that many online communities that were friendly. So that's kind of why I'm trying to like build a Discord channel and hopefully try to keep it not toxic. Just a place for people to go and get help and like learn how to code and stuff. VMs are a breath of fresh air after all the serverless stuff. Yeah, the more I use Amazon, the more it's like you get tied into all their services. Like, oh, you want to deploy an API to Amazon? That's cool. You do it, and then you realize there's a 30-second timeout on your requests. And you're like, okay, well, now I need to go and set up a long-living Lambda, and then I have to do asynchronous processing. So then you bring in SQS so that you can do like asynchronous processing. You're like, oh, well, I have to notify the user when the processing's done. So then you're like, okay, well, let's just do an API gateway v2, bring in WebSockets. And then like the more you use Amazon, the more you're like basically attached to all these little services just to accomplish anything. And I do think this is one reason why people like Kubernetes and just like doing stuff their own way is because like you're just running stuff on VMs. So you're not tied into like Google Cloud Compute or Azure or Amazon. Like you just make your VMs, you make your Kubernetes configuration, you deploy it to wherever you want, and it just works. We've spent so many hours and days on our job like trying to debug issues with serverless and connecting everything together, and crazy. I don't know if it's worth it. Do you think this diploma is necessary to find a job? I don't think you need a master's degree to find a job. I think you just need to be good. So if you can kind of go through an interview and like fake it till you make it and convince people that you know what you're doing, or if you actually know what you're doing, I think you'll be able to find a job pretty easily. Do you think it's worth starting difficult projects to learn? I think it is. I think if you start something that's over your head and like just everyday work to try to add a feature, I think you're going to learn pretty quick. Then it's $50. It's funny. It's funny because you can set up like a Socket.io server and literally send out millions of WebSocket events, and you'll pay like $5. So anyway, I've been streaming for 2 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This is the last thing I'll address. Let's see. I'll be down 1 second. The program is the work done is the same way as code and race project. Yeah, it's kind of the same, but it's more strict in a work environment. Like you have certain processes that you have to follow, and then like you have to talk about these issues. What we're doing with the code racer stuff is just people just like hacking stuff together, which is more fun. It's like fast pace, but it could be a little bit more chaotic. In a work environment, like there's project managers who need to understand like when a certain task is going to be done and give estimates to clients of like, okay, this will be deployed in the next 3 months period, etc. What do you? I haven't used Phoenix or Elixir service event. You could use show how. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for joining, and like always, you're welcome to contribute to this project if you want. Be sure to join my Discord and join my talk to everyone else in the community channel about it. Other than that, here's the GitHub repo to the set that we've built so far. And if you want to continue talking like you guys are doing, join the Discord, find some people to talk to. All right, have a good day. Happy coding.